Happy Tuesday. Welcome to a new episode of Unspoken Truth Podcast. I'm your host, Denise. What's up? How you doing? Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody is well, made it through that dreadful storm we just had, and ready to pick up where life left off before, okay? Um, it's Tuesday. Today's topic is identity crisis. I know some people when they hear that they like, oh boy, where's she going with this? But I told you guys on Friday that I would try to connect Tuesday's episode with last Friday's episode, and this coming Friday's episode. So just take this as another step forward for us to get to Friday's episode, okay? Let me fix this one camera. Okay, so if you've never been here before, welcome. I appreciate you taking the time out to come kick it with me for about a half hour. If you're a returning guest or follower, hey man, welcome back. So when I do episodes like this on a specific topic, I like to give a base definition so that it helps us stay on track as far as the topic, okay? So today's topic is identity crisis. Let me give you a quick little rundown on what I found, okay, online as far as a definition. Okay, identity crisis is a period of intense insecurity, confusion, and reevaluation of one's self concept, core beliefs, and life purpose. Okay, so in a nutshell, somebody who struggles with who they are, what their purpose is, why they here. Okay, this is gonna help tie all three episodes, Friday, Tuesday, Friday's episode together. Okay, when we start talking about identity crisis, um, I thought this was a good way to try to connect the dots with all the topics that I'm currently working on right now. Um, Last Friday was a doozy. If you missed it, I'm sorry. You gotta subscribe to my YouTube channel, or follow me on Facebook to watch any past episodes, okay? But we talked about some pretty intense stuff, but it's okay. I'll wait until you got the time to check it out. All right, we talking about identity crisis. Boy, it is just so much going on in the world that actually speaks on what I'm trying to say today. All right. You got a lot of people out here that's doing some extreme things to themselves, outer appearance. I would say that is one of the first things that most people who struggling with an identity crisis goes for first. Okay. What do I mean by that? It's like, well, this is the first part that somebody is gonna see when they meet you. Okay. It's gonna be your face, your smile, your eyes, your outer appearance. Some people is so insecure and uncomfortable with this skin that they in that be the first thing they try to tackle to try to make it look and feel what they want it to look and feel like. Okay. Um, to me personally, and I've struggled with depression and some more things in life. I just let me say, man, no matter what level of insecurity I've had over the years, I have not once woke up like, you know what? I probably would feel better about myself if I had new boobs. I probably would feel better about myself if I had hips and ass. I probably would feel better if I got a couple injections in my lips or my face or whatever. I've not once in my lifetime woke up wanting to be anybody else outside of myself, okay? Yes, there are things about myself that I'm not happy about, but then you work at those things. But I think the most important thing to kick this conversation off is, why is the outer appearance the first thing most people go working on? And when I say working on, I'm talking about BBLs, tummy tucks, breast augmentations. It is so many different things that people can do. Botox and lifts, and it's getting insane now. Okay, to the point where you got more people walking around with procedures they done had done than an authentic body. And for me, it just screams identity crisis to me. Now, this isn't just my opinion. You ain't got to agree. You can disagree, and that's fine. We're going to keep the conversation going. But I am telling you, anytime something or somebody has convinced you that the way you were made from the beginning is not good enough, suffice enough, sufficient enough, whatever it is that you feel like is causing you to want to go change some stuff, do some stuff, yeah, please, man, consider that there is something way deeper than just your physical appearance going on. There is some serious mental struggle happening inside of your head. And I stand on that. No, I've never had any surgeries or nothing like that, but I am connected to people who have. And no shade or shots at them or nothing. I feel the same way today that I felt when it was brought to me, or when I was included in the decision making, or just the opinion. Somebody cared enough to hear my opinion. Okay, I'm not here to tear nobody down. We having these conversations because I want to get to the bottom, the root of how so many people have convinced themselves that something need to change. Or I need to do something with this nose. Or I need to change something with my eyes. Or I need to do something with these lips. Or, and more power to people who actually follow through with it and understand that it's not just your physical appearance that needs working on. It's your whole body. Because for me, it's like, why in the world would you work on your body, the outside? Abs, muscles, this and that, and not even think like, yeah, it might be something psychologically going on with me. Because for me, personally, if I ever came to that crossroad where I was undecisive with myself about what I wanted to do or maybe needed to do with respect to my appearance, I would automatically, and this may be just because I've learned some things over time, but automatically I would be like, hey, what's happening up here? What's going on up here? Because no matter what I change or alter or do differently with this part, the thoughts or whatever it is I'm telling myself or whatever somebody then told me over time is still there. It's still playing over and over. It's still telling you need to do this and you should change that. And yeah. So for me, I would suggest or consider people who thinking about altering or changing their body, their physical appearance, that you start thinking about what's going on mentally first. Because I ain't gonna lie, I feel like in order for people to have these surgeries, regardless to them being able to afford it, there ought to be a mental evaluation that takes place. This is just my opinion. Because some people, unfortunately, are under the influence of drugs, alcohol, the perspectives of other people, whatever it is. It's not just your thoughts playing all over and over in your head. No, it's a combination of all of it. And somewhere down the line, you decided like, yeah, no, I'm going to follow through with it. And this going to make me happy. And I'm going to be able to be my full authentic self. And I'm just here to tell you, no disrespect to the people who done altered their body, spent their money, went above and beyond the call of duty with making themselves feel better. I want you to consider that your mental capacity, stability is probably one of the nervous systems to your decision making. And if that's altered or diminished or decreased to such a dangerous level, that's a problem. Because you not making logical decisions as long as you deficient in those areas. I'm talking about your mental. If you know that you are already struggling in that area, then you probably want to work on that part of yourself first. Because what's wrong with you the way you are? Who told you you need to change something or switch something up? Or where did that come from? So this is why I'm saying this is very important for people to start thinking about themselves on a mental level first before they ever get on a table or go through some surgery or sign up to have this done and that done. You need to be trying to figure out what is going on within yourself first. Now, I'm not telling nobody what to do and how to do it. That's not what I'm here for. But I am going to tell you, you need to go seek some psychological help. Clearly. Because who cares what the world think or what they would do if they was you? Because that's clearly what's going to happen when you start asking other people how they feel about what you think about doing, or what they would do if they was you in this situation. They're going to tell you exactly what you asking them. What I would do if I was them. That's not the level of help. That's not the level of help that you looking for. I'm here to tell you. That's why most people will skip over what somebody say to them when they ask such questions. Well, I was thinking about getting my nose done. What you think about that? And here is you telling them, hey man, you perfectly fine in the skin you in. You don't need to go doing that. You beautiful the way you are. You don't need to go changing nothing. But this is where I say this is where your mental stability come into play. Because some people will override the compliments that somebody is giving them about who they already are, who I can see you as already, and go straight for the person who told you, yeah, you probably need that nose job. Yeah, that nose too big. Your face would be prettier if it was smaller. Or whatever it is that we sitting here telling ourselves with respect to who we are. Because guess what? No matter what you choose, think, or believe, you the only one got to live in the skin. So taking advice from somebody who don't have to walk around in the skin that you in after you take such drastic measures on yourself, you really can't even take no advice from them. How? They ain't get to walk around and pass the mirror and be looking at themselves. Or be saying, oh, I probably shouldn't have did that. Or that may not have been the best move for me. This is why I'm saying your mental has got to come first. It have to. Because if it don't, these are the different scenarios and things you're going to be playing off in your head after you take those drastic measures. How do I know? No, I have not done it myself personally. But again, I've watched people who have. And again, no shade to them. But I've also watched them struggle in other areas of their life that they chose not to even focus on. And this is just me being observant. This is not bashing them or nothing. But I've seen the struggle still be present. Maybe they were severely insecure before the surgeries. That still exists. Maybe somebody told them when they was growing up that they wasn't pretty. Or they should make some changes when they able and capable of it. Or maybe they just did not have a positive support system growing up. Whatever the case may be. I'm just throwing out examples. The struggle is still going to remain. Because if you mentally unstable, there is not nothing you can do to this body, this vessel, that's going to change that. It's not. Yeah, there are certain things that we do in combination with working on our mental. Maybe that's a workout, the gym, or whatever to help you balance out your mental. But if you're not trying to get to the root of where all these thoughts came from and why you feel like you feel about yourself, you definitely, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, gonna struggle. I don't care what you do to yourself. You get a nose job, you get some Botox in your lips, you get a tummy tuck, you get your breasts lifted, you get a BBL. What difference do any of that make if internally, on the inside if this part right here is not right. If your mental is disturbed, what difference do it make what your outer appearance look like? It don't make a difference. You still miserable in your skin. And that's got to bother and trigger a lot of people because maybe somebody didn't tell you before you thought about doing all of these things to yourself that you should consider your mental stability or instability before you consider doing any kind of severe surgeries or augmentations to yourself. It's insane to me. And it's just my opinion. I'm not here to argue back and forth with nobody. I'm just simply saying there is entirely too many people risking their life. Because when you get on that table, you are absolutely risking your life. I hope at some point that I could have several people come through and sit down and talk to me about their experiences with respect to having an identity crisis, wanting to go up under the knife for these surgeries, or whatever it is that caused you to be in this space. Because some people got on that table and did not wake up. Have you considered that when you spending all this money on getting these type of procedures, that there is absolutely a possibility that you may lay on this table but not be able to wake up when it's over? Are you that insecure with who you are that you willing to take that risk? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm nervous. I ain't fixing to put my life in nobody's hands like that. Now, me personally, I've had to have surgeries for medical reasons. So that's different. But to just be like, you know what? I don't care of the risk that I'm taking right now. I'm doing this without it being combined with some mental therapy, some psychological stimulation or help. No. No. Because there is still so many factors after you do all of this stuff to yourself. Because I think some people is under the illusion that after they had these surgeries, everything is peachy cream. I promise you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's not the end of it. You actually got to keep up with this procedure you had done. That requires you to change your diet. That requires you to be at the gym a couple times a week. It also requires you to have somebody that's going to massage the scar tissue and stuff that builds up under the skin after you get some of these procedures. I know some people ain't tell you. I'm telling you. It's not what I think, it's what I know. And most people, they be they cashed out on the procedure itself. So now they ain't even got no extra money left over to pay for the ending of the surgery, the aftermath of the surgery. And then let's not leave out the fact that some of these surgeries leave your body odor imbalanced. I know I ain't the only one that's didn't see them talking about the way that a BBL smell on some of these women. I want y'all to consider that sometimes, and this may not be all the time, some people are willing to gain a significant amount of weight so that extra body mass or fat could be used in the places they want it to be. But I want you to know that's not everybody's circumstance. So now where is they getting this fat from? Where are you getting it from? I just watched a video yesterday where they said that some of the fat that they using to transfer to different places on these women's body is dead. It's not alive. It's dead. That means that y'all done used that from somebody's corpse. That's scary. That's scary to me. Oh my God. Somebody else's body fat, somebody else's fat from out their body that's no longer living, they have used to put inside of you. And here you is trying to figure out what this smell and this odor is. Newsflash, you don't know what's going on while you laying on that table. You don't. Because for sure they done put you down. That's how they get the procedure off. They done put you down. So you don't know what they doing. You don't know if they doing what they said they was going to do, or if they doing something extra, or if they doing something they ain't supposed to be doing. How do you know? And yet you're willing to take that risk to have them sitting up so they perky. Let me tell you something, man. If you done had kids, gravity in the universe, then it's going to do what it's going to do. Stop being ashamed of the fact that you actually brought life into this world and it augmented your body some. Okay. It's different workouts and the gym that can help with that. You ain't got to go to these extreme measures for you to start feeling good about yourself. Please do not let this world diminish the fact that you brought life into this world. Do you know how many people wish they could or may never have the opportunity? And here it is, you beating and badgering yourself across the head about what bringing life to this realm than did to your physical. I want you to start considering the fact that you are in this life. Because everybody is not going to be able to bring life here. Unfortunately. Parenting is not for everybody. And I'm not telling nobody not to attempt to be that. I'm simply saying it's already written. Who gonna be and who ain't. Stop letting society tell you that all women is supposed to be built like Skipper and Barbie and all this old bullshit. Stop letting them tell you that. Because all of us come in different shapes and sizes, and it's just what it is. Some of it is genetic, some of it is hereditary, some of it is just I gave up on myself for a minute. Because some of us do. That don't mean you less of a woman. That don't mean you ain't beautiful. That don't mean that you not loved, appreciated, and deserve to be here. That don't mean that. But if you busy allowing the many voices that sometimes play in the background of our minds to dictate whether or not you feel good or not about yourself, that is part of the problem. That's the issue. That's the main root to why you struggling. You don't have to. I'm going to keep telling people no matter what the topic is and what we discuss, and if we have fun or if stuff get real around here, I'm going to still keep turning people back around to themselves. Because why is it that we so comfortable with running from ourselves instead of running to ourselves? Why? What happened in our life that caused us to just be like, you know what? It is what it is. And I'm just going to let it be. I ain't going to try to fix nothing. I ain't going to try to understand nothing. I ain't going to try to work on nothing. It is what it is. Understand that mindset is part of the reason why you insecure in the first place. Because the first part to you starting to feel good about yourself is for you to be protecting your ear, eyes, and nose gate. Ear, eyes, and mouth gate. I'm sorry. Ear, eyes, and mouth gate. What does that mean? I'm only allowing certain things in. Because I know what I allow in is what's going to come out. Let me say that again for the people in the back that missed it. You struggling with who you are and your identity because you busy listening to stuff that you shouldn't. You busy taking in stuff that you shouldn't. TV, radio, music, movies, books, whatever it is, be mindful about what you taking in. Are you making healthy deposits? If you're a person who's severely insecure, start your mornings off with affirmations. You're going to have to start your day off with something positive, baby. To drown out all the noise. Because that's what it is. This world is full of noise. That'll have you listening to any and everything but what the truth is. Start your day off with, hey, let me speak life over myself and my circumstance. Let me say positive things to myself. And I'm not telling nobody that this is the way I always was. No. It took me years to get to this point where I realized that I'm going to dictate what type of day I'm going to have. Me. Not my parents, not my kids, not my friends, not the world. No, me. So if I want to have a good day, I'm going to have to make sure I set the tone for that. The same thing applies to any and everybody else. I'm not special. I just realized where my power lies at. This is something you're going to have to do if you're severely struggling with insecurities. You're going to have to take back your power. Because somehow along the lines of living and experiencing this life, you start giving it to other people and letting them tell you what to do with it. No. You're going to have to take back your power. And I've, in other episodes, described and discussed how that's possible. It's okay for you to call back your energy and your power from people who using it without your consent, or people who's supposed to been cut off, but still somehow managed to connect themselves to your power source. You listen. You in control of that, not nobody else. You want to have a good day? Then say, I'm going to have a good day. No matter who I come across or connect with throughout the day, I'm choosing. Because it's a choice. It's a decision that you made soon as your feet swung out the bed and touched the floor. It's a choice and a decision for you to have a positive outcome with your day. That's a choice. Same way you could choose to wake up and be angry and disgruntled and just be mean as hell to everybody. It's a choice. How about you choose to start pouring into yourself for once? Instead of expecting the world to care. Because I'm telling you, the world going to be your downfall. You keep on listening. You keep on letting them dictate your thoughts. Your thoughts is what become your reality. You want to feel better about yourself? Then start pouring good into you. You forget who else could do it. Because if they was willing to do it, they would have already been doing it. Let's be clear. We ain't about to sit here and bullshit around. People pour into the people they want to. Don't let that be the reason why you don't get nothing poured into your cup. That makes no sense. You willing to be delinquent and deficient because somebody else ain't pouring. No, you do the pouring. You decide that it's necessary for you to start pouring and working on you. Can't nobody do it for you. You are your own project. Stop leaving the future or the demise of who you are in the hands of somebody else who ain't got their life in order either. So now you busy, the blind leading the blind. You letting somebody tell you what you should be doing with your life and how you should be doing it. And you looking at their life and you like, how in the hell can you give some advice? And I'm watching you struggle in every area that you're telling me about. Stop giving people your power, man. Stop. Because guess what they going to use it for? They own good. They sure ain't about to reciprocate and give back. No. Because we too busy living in a selfish ass world anyway. So the moment I get your power and I realize that I got it, I'm going to use it for what I need it for. Maybe I needed an extra ego boost today. So I'm going to use your power because you don't know how to protect it and keep it to yourself. So I'm going to use it. And I ain't even going to, right before the cup get empty, I ain't going to stop and be like, well, Dad, they gave me some of this power. Maybe I should give some of it to them. No, that's not how a majority of people in the world think. Not even close. How about you be in control of the power to begin with? That way you ain't even got to debate with somebody else about it. Call it back so that you can be whole, because majority of the time, we in pieces. That's why we struggling in certain areas, because we in pieces. we can't feel whole because we done issued out our power and our energy to people, and they didn't already got what they need to get from it, but we forgot to cut the ties. We forgot to call our power and our energy back, so they still using it. Yep. Why would they stop using it? You ain't thought nothing about it, so why should they? I believe that is where a lot of people got identity crisis issues to begin with. Maybe it was their parents bashing them when they was growing up. Maybe it was their siblings telling them that they not good enough. Whatever it was, once you reach adulthood, stop looking for somebody to blame. Yes, those things occurred, but at some point you're going to have to heal that. Even if that person is unapologetic about what they said and did to you, you're going to have to heal that, which means you're going to have to learn how to get over it. Because what difference do it make what somebody think about you or say about you? They ain't got to live your life. They ain't got to walk in your shoes. They ain't got to deal with nothing you dealing with. So why does their perspective or opinion matter? Ask yourself some of this stuff when you start looking for advice from people. Ask yourself, what difference do it make what these people think or say? I still got to walk in these shoes. I still got to live in this skin. I still got to deal with whatever consequences and repercussions based off of my decisions and choices. Me. By myself. Because that's how it's going to be a majority of time. You're going to look around. The people who supposed to be there for you, they ain't going to be nowhere around. So ain't no sense of you getting comfortable with that. This is about you, an individual, finally deciding that you're going to take life seriously and start doing what's required for you to be happy here. Who cares if the next person is happy or not? You struggling. I think that trumps whatever else is going on in the world. If I'm severely impacted and struggling with who I am as an individual, why I'm here, what's my purpose, what I'm supposed to be doing, who is helpful for me and who is hurting me. I think that's the most powerful dynamic that you can learn and teach yourself. What's good for me and what's not. Who's good for me and who ain't. Let that be the basis of you starting to take more control over you as an individual person. And these are things that I used to teach my kids. If you struggling about, for example, a particular person, if you struggling about a particular person, whether or not they good for you or not, I need you to catch on to what I'm saying. If you struggling with those two things, I don't know if they good for me or bad for me. Yeah. There's a disconnect somewhere. And I don't believe that you even understand what I'm saying until you start spending time with yourself, till you start learning yourself. Are you going to even comprehend? If you're struggling and you don't know the difference between somebody that's good for you and somebody who ain't, you already at the bottom of the bottom. This is why you feel depleted when it comes to insecurities, when it comes to outer appearance, when it comes to what people say and think about you. This is why you're struggling. Because at the end of the day, it is more important about what you think about yourself than it's ever going to be about anybody else. This your life. This the skin you in. I think it's more of a disservice for you to push aside how you feel about yourself for you to retain how somebody else feel about you. Let me repeat that. You are doing a disservice to yourself as an individual for you to dismiss and ignore and push how you feel about you to the side for you to retain and take in how somebody else feel about you. You are already living life backwards. I'm sorry if ain't nobody else gonna tell you. I will, man. You deserve so much more. And unfortunately, we expecting that so much more from everybody else instead of us expecting it from ourselves. Nobody's going to give you anything if they don't see you giving it to yourself. I'm going to continue to tell you over and over until it seeps in that people going to treat you how they see you treat yourself. If you are struggling with an identity crisis, please, for the love of God, take into consideration that there is much more important things that need to be discussed, addressed, and handled more than your outer appearance. Please go seek some type of mental help. Because there should not become a point in time where you constantly viewing yourself in the mirror and you just absolutely disgusted with what you see. And you allowing that to dictate whether or not you change yourself into somebody that don't nobody recognize. Not even you. Why? Why are you doing that? Love yourself, man. You got to do it first. Yes, we want love from other people, but you going to have to love you first. You only going to attract what it is that you are. I'm not going to keep saying that either, but it's the fact. It's the law of attraction. Take care of yourself, man. I don't know how much longer this trend that we seeing is going to continue, but don't allow society to change you into somebody that you don't even know no more. Meanwhile, life that moved on for them, they could care less about what they told you and why they told it to you, because they ain't got the deal. They ain't got to be bothered with nothing that come with it. So be mindful. Take into consideration that all advice ain't good advice. And just because it look good to you don't mean it's good for you. I'm hoping that somebody that needed to get something from today's conversation popped in and was able to get what they needed, man. Friday's episode is woo-wee. It's going to ruffle some feathers. It's going to make some people uncomfortable. But again, this is why we having these conversations. How can we be so uncomfortable that we don't even discuss? That's going to be a problem. For all of us adults out here, that's going to be a problem. We need to be able to conversate in order for us to do anything about what's happening. It starts with acknowledgement, awareness, and accountability. I love y'all. I appreciate everybody that chimed in, commented, filled through, shared, liked the post, told somebody. Hey, man, y'all meet me back here on Friday, 8 p.m. for a new episode of Unspoken Truth Podcast. Until then, I'm your host, Tanise. I'm out of here. Y'all be careful out there. It's still dangerously icy and extremely cold. Be careful. Take your time. There's no rush getting from A to B. It's better to be safe than sorry. I love y'all. I will see y'all Friday, 8 p.m. Don't meet me here. Beat me here. Okay? I'm out of here.